Hello. So I am back. Hi there with
Woohoo!
Marianne Clyde. So if you can, you might be able to find it.
Share it now, right?
So yeah, we want to make sure that you guys can hear us and that there's no shakiness going on. So this is like take 3 for us.
Yes, it is.
And sorry, I'm kind of a little bit embarrassed by that, but you know what? Even the best of the best have issues with Facebook Live. So
yeah,
we won't even go into that.
For you.
I needed you like the other day, actually. So I'm back with Marianne Clyde, who is a licensed family and marriage therapist, and we have just lots to talk about. So if you tuned in last time, you probably could hear a lot of things, but it was very shaky and just wasn't a good quality. So we're back. And so we want to thank you for watching live and again, and third time's a charm, right?
I know.
So, and we just want to make sure that you can hear us and everything's fine. So, and thank you for watching the replay. So we're going to get started. We've got lots of things to talk about, and just going to let Marianne take it from here. And this is, oh, by the way, this is Facebook Live Fridays with Social Steph, who is myself. And I just love featuring women business owners, particularly on Fridays, because it's just kind of catchy. And it just works,
Which is
right?
why we do everything. It's catchy.
Yes. And so we just want to share the value of other business owners in the community. And she has so much to share. So I'm learning a lot since this is our third time. And so it's all going to sink in. And we just want to thank you and welcome you to the live session. And let's talk.
Okay. So you're holding a couple of my books. This is wonderful. This is my first book, Peaceful Parenting, 10 Essential Principles. And it was wonderful yesterday. I got a really wonderful Twitter from somebody who said, hey, she was from Canada, and she just said, hey, I found your book. I love the 10 principles, and I loved what I said about more is caught than taught. That's pretty much what that book is all about, is how to be the kind of parent you want to be so that your kids can emulate that. Because you know as well as I do, they don't do what you say, but they certainly do what you do.
Oh, yeah, I had an embarrassing moment, I guess it was, yesterday. And I had to check myself because I realized I was acting not the way that I wanted my kids to act.
Yeah.
And it was just regarding bad customer service.
Oh, yeah.
And, so I had a moment to calm down and just kind of do a retake or whatever on how I was going to act, and then the situation actually was much better at that point.
Well, that's true. If we have a pocket full of mindfulness principles that we can tap into, then we can easily teach them to our kids. You know, and my favorite one is my, I don't know if you can see my tattoo, which says, just breathe. It's principle number 4 in the book. It's on everything that I give out as souvenirs and everything. But the important thing is you can teach your kid to take a deep breath and hold it. And you know, one cool thing that works with little kids, and I learned this when my grandsons was really, really young. I was watching the ducks in the pond, and they kind of come again into each other's territory, and then there's this little kerfuffle, and then they just keep on going. So I taught him how to do kind of a duck dance. It's kind of like when you get frustrated and you run into an opposition or a frustration, you just kind of shake it all off, because you have to get that adrenaline and cortisol out of your body. And at the time, a 4-year-old grandson wasn't really interested in adrenaline and cortisol.
Right.
But so I just taught him how to do a duck dance. Just get rid of all that energy, and then we can move on. And little principles like that are really helpful.
That's good. I'm going to remember that.
Although don't do it in the supermarket. Your kid can't. You can't. Then that would be a whole different
My daughter
problem.
would love that because she's a huge animal lover, and I could just say, just do the duck dance.
Yeah. We all do the duck dance. We can do it when we're having a family event. Okay, everybody, duck dance. I don't even think that's in the book. That's just free.
That's a freebie. Okay. Do you want to talk about this one?
And then Unleashed Practical Steps to Get Your Life Unstuck. I did last year was a teleconference that I did. It was a 4-week teleconference, and I really transcribed the teleconference into a book about, it's just in 4 different sections. It gives you suggestions on how to recognize when you're stressed and stop and take care of it right then. So it has really practical things to do. Also a really effective principle that I do here in therapy to help people release strong emotions that are attached to memories. You know, you can't change the memory, but you can change the emotion that's in that traumatic memory by changing the meaning to you. And so that I do a lot of that in therapy. It helps people get set free.
And it's a short book.
It's a short book. I had somebody tell me just yesterday that, you know, they just read it in one day and it gave them really clear, practical stuff.
That's good.
I don't have time to read a lot of books. I read a lot of books like the first quarter, the first half, and then I think, fine, they have all their information. This is all good information from the beginning to the end, and it takes, maybe 2 or 3 hours to read.
That I can do.
Yeah.
So do you have something else that's coming out?
I do. I have a new book coming out this summer. I don't have a specific date yet, but it'll probably be about August, and it's how to eliminate chaos, stress, and discontent in the workplace. So the target market for that is entrepreneurs, managers, and business executives.
Right.
And it's also very practical stuff. It includes the 10 principles, only I adjust them to business rather than parenting, because those principles are the foundation for everything I teach.
Okay. So is there communication type of tips in there as well?
Oh,
Because
whole
that's
chapter,
huge, right?
whole chapter on communication tips. As a matter of fact, I have a course on curious.com /mommyzen, one word, and I've got a whole course in there. It's about 11 videos on how to have good communication, how to listen, how to have a difficult conversation, how to, receive that information. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, for me personally, I like to be a communicator because if you're not, then nothing's changed, right?
Well, that's what Social Steph does. I mean, she teaches people how to communicate online and say what you want people to hear.
Right.
Make sure they hear it, and then you can move on. But that's where we come up with all our problems. Is we say what we think we're saying, and people hear what they think we're saying, and it's not always the same thing.
Well, that's cool. So you've got 2 books and 1 coming out. So
yes,
that's
and they're available on Amazon.
Yeah. So for those of you joining us, we've got a couple viewers. Hey, Emily, can you just give us a thumbs up or something? You last time, well, I can't even talk. You joined us the last time. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us. Nobody's shaking and everything's cool. So if you can hit the thumbs button or the love button.
You, Emily's a good fan. Yeah. she sat through those 2 other
Emily's
ones.
a cool chick, yeah. So I hope you can hear me, Emily. Let me know, please. So speaking of videos, I've watched several of your videos on YouTube. So can you tell us about what do you have on there?
I have, actually the communication course is actually on YouTube too. It's on a playlist. I've divided things into playlists. So there's just a playlist that's communication principles. Again, about 11 videos long.
Oh, yay. We're good.
Yay. Good. Yeah. And so on YouTube, it's just my name, Marianne Clyde. And there's a course on communication. There's a course on peaceful parenting based on this book. And there's also, in the introduction, there's a link to a workbook called Chaos to Calm in 30 Days. And so you can read the book, you look at the workbook, you watch the videos, and it leads you 15 minutes a day. You can have your house completely turned around and calm and peaceful and, believe it or not, relatively in control. So that's
yay.
That. Plus, there's a really neat course on dealing with your special needs child.
Okay.
And that's about 10 or 12 interviews with people like Susan McCorkindale, if you know Susan McCorkindale, and Krista Williams, and some of the other local moms. Sure. They're not all local, because I think one woman was from Canada, and they were from different parts of the area, but there are several local people who helped me with that, with their specific kids and what they learned. You know, they all learned it the hard way. They found out resources,
Sure.
and then they are sharing with other parents so you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
Good resources about how to deal with your
Great.
special needs kid.
So, and you wrote an article, didn't you? Just recent. Are you in the new She magazine this last month?
I am. I believe this time there's an article in there about the power of silence. And we don't have a copy of our She magazine yet, so I have to go over to the Fauquier Times and get one. But yes, I believe the article is the power of silence. And that's actually principle 1 in my list of 10 essential principles, is connecting.
Sure.
Connecting with your creator, connecting with God, connecting with nature. What I'm trying to help people do is establish that firm foundation, because once you establish a strong internal locus of control through connection to silence and wisdom, then all this stuff, so much more manageable.
Right.
And there's a whole lot of this.
Well, speaking of that, I think the last time we talked, you were talking about how the person is already whole inside.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about the other services that you have here, and then
I would love to do
yeah,
that.
sure.
Yeah, my belief, and every single person that comes in here, I tell them, there's nothing wrong with you. You are whole, perfect, and complete, lacking nothing. The problem is we have beliefs, we have behaviors, we have addictions that are causing dysfunctional patterns in our lives. But that's only because we've lost connection with who we really are. So if you are absolutely calm and content and confident in your place in this world and in the universe, with all, you have everything within you to do whatever you need to get done, then people are not going to offend you. People are not going to anger you. Yeah, you'll feel those emotions, but I mean, you won't get
Sure.
sucked down into that spiral of despair
Sure.
because of our lovely obsessive brains. You know, that, oh my God, that person doesn't like me.
Right.
You know, and that can take up your whole day.
Yeah. No, you're right. I've experienced that. I've experienced that personally, actually, just recently. So, yeah, that's good to know
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So we're getting the video keeps cutting off.
Aw.
Maybe it's the building. Well, it's okay here. Is it okay now, Rachel? Just sometimes the Wi-Fi goes in and out, but it should be all right.
And it is, my office is in an old building. Then that and the internet does go in and out.
Right.
So we're hoping it's boosted a little bit this time.
You know, it is going to be what it is going to be. So tell us, did we want to walk around, or did you want to just talk about?
We can walk. What if the video is going in and out? That's
Wait.
even going to make it more
Sure.
annoying if we're shaking it.
Okay,
Okay, so we won't shake
we'll
you.
just stay here.
We'll just. I've got a new therapist actually starting in about a week. Her name's Michelle Leonard. She's a licensed clinical social worker, and she comes from the Meyer Clinics out in Fairfax.
Okay.
And they had gone out of business, and so I get Michelle. So she's going to join us, so I'm very excited about
Sure.
that. I have a resident therapist, Anna Marie Askin-Evans, who's working under my supervision to get her license. She's fabulous. She's been with me for 2 years. Before that, she was doing about 9 years worth of working with family coaches and a psychologist named Stephen Stosny. And so she's brought a whole lot of experience to her. So she's really, really very effective as well.
Okay.
And then I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist as well. And so we just help people with anxiety, depression, relationship issues. And you and I were talking about narcissism earlier. That seems to be a ding, ding, ding. That seems to be a big talk these days. It's in our society. It's in our relationships. And how do we deal with that? I actually have a blog. You can go to MarianneClyde.com. There's a blog on when you marry Mr. Right and he turns out to be Mr. Always Right, and how to handle that. So
I love that.
Yeah, that was on the Huffington Post blog, but it's also on my website. So.
I'm going to look for that.
Yeah,
not that my husband's not like
right.
that, but
Right, take that back.
Yeah, he's definitely not. But yeah, that would be something good to just share out there.
Yeah. So I've got some great therapists, and we do meditation Mondays every Monday at noon for free. You just show up here.
Nice.
and we've got a room that we just use for meditation. We've offered yoga instruction and massage as well, and so we're working on getting the therapists that are really present for those situations as well. But it's a great office space, except I guess the internet's a little off. It's the only thing I'm complaining about.
It's all good.
Right.
We got great people here, and
we do. We have a great group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you all have any questions or comments or anything that you want to put in the comment section down below, obviously this video is going to be replaying and it'll repopulate over and over again. So we'll be checking things to make sure that anybody that asks questions, they'll get them answered. And I'll make sure that I put all the links to your YouTube, where they can find you, your blogs,
That's great.
website, all that good stuff. So
I also may I mention one more thing about the YouTube is I'm starting a new video series, and it will probably be about the middle of May when I'm starting it. It's called Wine O'Clock, WHINE, and it says Wake Up to a New Reality with Marianne Clyde. So I'm going to have little short videos, maybe 5 minutes, discussing really good practical steps on how do you deal with your anxiety practically.
Right.
How do you deal with a narcissistic spouse or boss or parent practically? What does that mean to us? And so we want to stop whining and start living, and that's the whole essence of that video series. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, thanks, Marianne.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was a pleasure.
Sure, yeah.
I hope it was a pleasure viewing for everybody out there. We'll see when we watch the replay.
We're going to end this. And have a beautiful weekend. It's going to be an awesome weekend here in Virginia. And stay tuned for more Facebook Live Fridays.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.